It looked like justice had finally arrived, not from a referee's whistle, not from the league office, but from something bigger, something poetic. Because in the world of basketball, sometimes karma moves faster than the ball itself. It started with a hit, a collision that changed everything. Sophie Cunningham went down hard, her body twisting awkwardly as she grabbed her knee. The sound of the crowd fell away, replaced by a stunned silence that every athlete dreads. You could feel it in the air, that sickening pause where no one breathes, waiting to see if it's bad. And it was. The trainers rushed in, teammates surrounded her, and Sophie, one of the toughest competitors in the game, couldn't even stand. That alone told the story. She wasn't hurt, she was broken. But what made this moment explode beyond the hardwood wasn't just the injury. It was the image that came seconds later. With Sophie still down, cameras panned across the floor and caught Bria Hartley, smirking. Call it a grin, a laugh, or disbelief if you want, but the expression was there. A split second of what looked like satisfaction. And that single frame became gasoline on an already burning fire. Fans saw the look, saw Sophie on the floor, and made up their minds. This wasn't an accident. Clips spread across social media faster than highlights from the game itself. That smirk became a symbol of disrespect, of carelessness, of everything fans hated about dirty play. And soon, the comments turned brutal. How could she smile at that? She knew what she did. Suspend her. The league didn't act, but the court of public opinion did. In a matter of hours, Bria Hartley went from veteran guard to the most hated player in the WNBA. And the thing is, this wasn't new. Hartley's reputation had been quietly building all season. First, the scuffle with Angel Reese, a play that escalated fast when fans swore they saw her tugging at Reese's hair. Then came the shove against Rebecca Allen, another questionable moment that never drew real punishment. Each time, the benefit of the doubt slipped further away. By the time she collided with Sophie Cunningham, the narrative was already written. Bria Hartley didn't just play physical, she played dirty. That's why the smirk hit like a slap in the face. It didn't matter what she meant. It didn't matter if it was shock or awkwardness. People saw what they wanted to see, a player enjoying the aftermath of an opponent's pain. Headlines labeled it the dirtiest play of the season. Fans accused referees of turning blind eyes. And Sophie's own family spoke out, demanding that the WNBA start protecting its athletes before another career ended on the floor. The outrage was loud, relentless, and personal. Then, just as the noise reached its peak, something strange happened. The kind of twist that feels scripted, but wasn't. Connecticut Sun PR dropped the update. Bria Hartley will miss the remainder of the season due to a right knee meniscus tear suffered during practice. Just like that, the same player accused of delivering the dirtiest hit of the year was done, sidelined by her own injury. The timing was almost too perfect to believe. Sophie Cunningham, out with a torn MCL. Bria Hartley, now out with a torn meniscus. Both knee injuries. Both season-ending. Except one came from a hit. The other came from... what? Fate. Fans didn't need convincing. To them, it was instant karma, delivered with ruthless precision. The same way Sophie had fallen, Bria now fell too. Posts lit up Twitter and Instagram. The basketball gods don't miss. Guess she's not smiling now. Even those who normally called for empathy couldn't ignore the eerie symmetry. Within days, the storyline had flipped from outrage to poetic justice. It was almost too fitting. The league hadn't fined her. The refs hadn't punished her. But somehow, something had. A hit during practice, a season gone, and an entire fanbase that couldn't help but see balance being restored. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham, the supposed victim, carried herself with nothing but grace. She went on her podcast and spoke about Hartley with surprising kindness. No bitterness. No anger. She said she didn't believe Bria meant to hurt her, that it was a basketball play, and that the two were actually friends. She even told her mother, who had publicly criticized Hartley, to let it go. It was a level of composure that made fans love her even more. Sophie was down, yes, but she refused to stay down in spirit. But when it came to defending herself and her family, Sophie still had fire. After one too many shots were thrown at her online, she fired back on Twitter with just 4 words, F around and find out. It was raw, unapologetic, and perfect. That single line became a rallying cry. Fans flooded her mentions with support, praising her toughness both on and off the court. In that moment, Sophie showed exactly why she's respected, because she knows when to be gracious and when to stand her ground. Her sister Lindsay and mother Paula didn't hold back either. They slammed the WNBA for letting dangerous play slide while fining players like Sophie for speaking out about officiating. "Maybe hire refs who can actually protect your athletes," her mother tweeted. And she wasn't alone. Across fan pages, podcasts, and sports blogs, the same question echoed. Why does the league punish words faster than it punishes reckless actions? But even as the controversy raged, the Fever kept pushing forward. Kelsey Mitchell dropped a jaw-dropping 38 points against the Sun, earning Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Lexi Hull emerged as a quiet leader. And Aaliyah Boston, battling inside, game after game, continued to anchor the team's heart. The Fever could have folded under the weight of everything, but instead, they rose. Every injury, every setback became fuel. And somewhere behind the scenes, Sophie Cunningham was watching, rehabbing, recovering, and staying locked in. Her body might be out for the season, but her influence wasn't. Her energy was still part of the team's DNA. Grit, humor, and fight. As for Bria Hartley, her season ended not with a whistle, but with a twist of fate that nobody could have scripted better. She went into practice a villain and came out a cautionary tale. Whether you call it coincidence, irony, or divine retribution, one truth remained. The game has a way of evening the score. Because when Sophie Cunningham fell, the league stayed silent. But when Bria Hartley fell, the world noticed. And in that silence between those two moments, something changed. So now, as the Fever fight on without one of their most fiery players, the story isn't just about a dirty hit or an injury. It's about resilience. About how a team can lose a key player and still refuse to break. About how a woman can get knocked down in front of millions and still rise with grace. The league might have failed to protect her. The refs might have missed the call. But the universe has its own way of calling fouls. If you support Sophie Cunningham, drop a comment wishing her a full recovery, because this story isn't over. The comeback is already being written. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Because if this season proved anything, it's that karma never skips a beat.